Hey nerds. So I'm gonna do a review of season 5 of Girls. Uh, if you didn't catch the series finale season opener last night, um, check that out. I'll have a review up hopefully tonight. I just want to go over last season since I was actually able to catch up right before the new episode. Um, I think that the season 5 of Girls was very much about, well, breakups and the end of relationships and the major decisions we uh, choose that either make or break a relationship, especially if it ends up compromising the kind of established norm for the relationship, whether it be living in the same city, then going long distance, or it be uh, catering to your partner when they have when they seem to have deep emotional issues, uh, as opposed to kind of tearing them down and not really giving them space to breathe. I'm speaking a lot of unspecifics here. There's a lot of relationships in season 5 that go kind of crazy. I did really, really hope that Marnie wouldn't stay with Desi. I was really, really hoping, and that ended up happening. Although, I'm not gonna lie, I saw some similarities in myself and Desi, and I know lots of people who do some of those same things, and it's really interesting. Like, when you make yourself a victim in a relationship, because you make the other person the bad guy, and they shouldn't be the bad guy. They should be your partner. So it was interesting how by degrees Marnie and her husband became estranged until eventually falling apart. I think ending this season with them already broken up, but him with a new girlfriend who is catering to his emotional needs to a sage point is really interesting, and I think he's gonna ruin the tour next season. But I think that Marnie could reestablish her solo career. I'm really hoping for that. On the tail ends of that, Marnie's first boyfriend from season 1, whose name I forget, does have an episode where him and Marnie really, really are enjoying hanging out together, and she almost runs away with him when she realizes, oh shit, he's on hard drugs, and is not about that life. So there's that, and then the whole romantic dream about Ray was really interesting, and I did ship them, although I still kind of ship Ray with Shoshana. So I am wondering what Shoshana is going to do. They have thrown her in a few relationships this season, but she's probably been in still the least amount of relationships, it seems, in terms of experience. Although she does have her head on her shoulders in a really good way. I love that she went to Japan. I love Japan. I'm an otaku, obviously. And from the perspective of someone who is not into anime, but really loves Japan, sorry, that's what they were trying to show that she really loved Japan, or she fell in love with Japan, and really liking the culture and how people are. And I shouldn't say you don't see a lot of Americans that feel that way, but honestly, I don't know anyone personally who loves Japan and doesn't like anime equally. So I thought it was really interesting. I like that they had an episode in Japan, even though I'm sure it costs lots of money. They even got Japan artists. They even got Japanese musicians to sing and perform. Was really cool. I do enjoy that Girls tries to consistently get us out of New York a little bit, just to show the girls interacting in a wider world. And it shows that they're willing to, branch out. Although them constantly returning to New York, I don't think is off-putting, although I'm sure it is to some people, because they're growing, and it's growing pains, and it's yo-yoing constantly. I think Adam is noteworthy this season for sure, especially since usually he's with Hannah, or his plot lines are very closely related to Hannah, and then he has kind of won also other people. But holy crap, his relationship life has exploded. And I thought early in the season, the subtext for, him kind of being a really close friend to Hannah's best friend, or one of her best friends, one of the main four, was really interesting. I was like, yeah, they probably won't get together. I was like, I don't know. But it seems interesting not only that progressing through the season, they've had their own kind of yo-yoing growing pains. And of course, they started the season kind of already kind of moving towards relationship. Whereas we had a pretty big time skip happen in between seasons, 4 and 5. So they really try to establish kind of like, oh, this is normal now, before they started changing things up again with the relationships. And given the toxicity of pretty much everyone on the show, but Adam especially, I liked that. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all the way to the end of the season, but I'm trying to think of big ideas right now. Him throwing and breaking shit is something he does. He does it when he gets angry. We've seen it. It's constant for his character. And to see someone respond to that and not a scared way was really interesting. And of course, realistically, most people are gonna be scared by that, and it's abusive fucking behavior. But I think it's really, really interesting that and I am so sorry, I love this show, but I cannot remember the Australian girl's name for the life of me right now. I've been talking around it, but I'm gonna own up to that. But seeing as she's probably the most angrily charged of the 4 main cast, I think it's fitting that she kind of ends up with Adam, even though my OTP for the show is Hannah and Adam. That maybe that's just because I see a beauty in them working things out and really loving each other and really being there for each other, even though they're so different and it's so hard. I think that for this last season, it's going to be really interesting to see if they go through a breakup. Although they end the season on a really high note for their relationship, considering what seemed like it was going to be a breakdown of their relationship, because, well, no, she has to be Hannah's friend too. She can't just X her out, even though she's a narcissist. It's kind of like, wow, they broke the entire apartment and they had sex. Wow. So I'm really interested to see where it goes. I feel like it's going to be kind of one of the antagonistic forces of the final season, considering Hannah has had bad feelings about it. Although, oh my god, the fact that that Hannah went to the Moth, I've always wanted to go to the Moth. So it was kind of like I was vicariously going through her through the show. So I really enjoyed how they used the Moth as an outlet and a thing that actually happened. To actually I don't know, it was kind of like they were publicizing the Moth because it was in canon, but it was also the Moth was an actual thing. I'm sure that there are people who watch girls who might not have known about the Moth, and then they're like, the Moth, what's that? And then boom, they're in one. That sounds weird. They're at Story Slam. I think that Hannah's really grown. I tried to get to her last-ish. I think Hannah's really grown. I think that she still is uber insecure, but I do think that that kind of claim that she has to her body and to her feelings, that she kind of stays right with, even when it goes into very dark and damaging places, is really contained in the latter half of the season, where she's kind of doing pretty lousy, I would say. I feel like season 5 Hannah is trying to keep her head above water and pretending she can breathe water. at the same time, because as much as she was dating a really nice person, it just seemed like there was like the sense of her forcing herself into that situation, and her making her boyfriend like uber uncomfortable, even with things that honestly Adam probably would have been a little peeved at, but it's like, well, it's Hannah, come on. Seeing that her Hannah kind of sabotaged the relationship did suck, but it did show that, you know, not everyone is gonna be great in a relationship with you, even if it's even if there's like emotions there, even if there's like uh a good back and forth. By that I mean like your rapport and things like that. And girls is all about rapport and how people get along, because I mean it seems to be either people like have a lot of tension with each other and they just let it out through like sets and like, I don't know, sarcasm, or like people are like curbing their kind of darker or meaner tendencies, but then it kind of bursts out, which seems to be the case with Hannah's boyfriend. Although yes, Hannah gets on people's nerves. I like that, since I'm going for as much character development acknowledgement as I can. Hannah's dad coming out as homosexual and deciding to try to still make it work with his wife while still seeing men, and of course Hannah's mom coming to accept her husband and also trying to make it work, but from a dark place, kind of like, well, I mean, I'll be fucked if I try to find someone else. I mean, there's kind of like just like this stark honesty that the show portrays, and even in the like adults like Ray or, you know, Hannah's parents, it just feels so like, not just real, but like, I mean, yeah, you're getting the short end of the stick, but you're making the best out of it, and it really inspires me personally. Although, yes, being like, oh yeah, I'm with someone who's not technically supposedly attracted to me, and then like I'm basically staying with them because, well, I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life, or I don't want to be stuck taking care of someone because I am so old that if I get someone around my age, they will die sooner than I am ready. / I'll have to take care of them. Fuck that shit. It was really interesting. Oh man, I'm trying to remember the last character's name that I was gonna cover. Well, I guess next to last character's name I was gonna cover. Considering that Hannah's first boyfriend on the show ended up being a gay guy, it was kind of a reflection in her father's story arc, and it only made sense that they would kind of like buddy, even though, and thank goodness it didn't end up being like a sexual relationship. They actually kind of like, I don't know, they fell off each other's energy, although Hannah's friend isn't necessarily the best influence. But I do want to mention his arc with dating the celebrity who played the bad guy in Ant-Man was really, really good, and like really raw and cutting. And I really liked how it was kind of like one of the heaviest plots, like, especially considering it was a character that you know wasn't probably gonna stay because, you know, money and time and stuff like that. It seemed like they were really trying to get the most out of the actor, and it seemed really, really sad. And I really wanted to see them stay together, but it's another one of those reality moments where it's like, it's probably better they didn't stay together. I want to rewind back to Shoshana because I feel like I mentioned Shoshana, but I didn't really go into Shoshana. Other than her going to Japan, I think her kind of throwing her long distance relationship away, even though that relationship was birthed out of like a kind of arrogance that the guy had, that like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna hire you, but I'll take you out on a date. Wait, you're moving? Let me hire you. It was so many words that I don't want to say because I don't want you to just yell at me for being some type of SJW. I am. So, I think that her friendship with Ray is actually really stellar, and I love that, as much as I was kind of like still kind of shipping them, that they seem to have a nice friendship, even if it does have some amount of physical tension, maybe not sexual tension, considering like the blocking, but I mean like the space between the characters is like very particular. Like they don't touch a lot. I noticed, which is something that is, I would assume would be common for exes that are still friends, but I think they handled it really well with moments of Shoshana being uncomfortable and letting Ray know she was uncomfortable. And I think that Shoshana's come a long way with kind of letting people know how she feels, although it still comes off kind of bitchy. But I mean, who doesn't love bitchy? I'll mention Ray really briefly. Towards the latter half of the season, he's getting his ass kicked by a kind of a new-aged coffee place, and I thought it was really interesting that a gender-neutral person jumped down Ray's throat because Ray has tried to like really understand, and then the trans asterisk person was just not having it. It was like, I don't have time for your ignorance, fuck you. And it was kind of like, it was like a really like powerful moment played up for comedy. I didn't feel bad about it, but I do want to say that it's interesting that like an episode, 2 episodes later, even though he's not talking to the person, he knows what they are now, and he must have did some sort of research. It was like, oh my god, those gender neutral people without jobs and going to college, and yeah, the whole thing of Shoshana rebranding their coffee bar to be like for people with jobs and not like SJWs and whatnot, which I felt like was kind of like a stab at social justice warriors, like actually, and not like just being fun. But given Lena Dunham and how strong a feminist she is, I am pretty sure that that was just kind of, sorry, I'm so black you might not have seen me winking. So I just wanted to say that this has been a great series. I love it so much. It really saddens me to see it end, but it also makes me happy to see it end and see Lena Dunham move on to other projects. And I think it's lasted a good amount of time, and I like where the show is going. I hope it has an ending that feels as uncomfortable as Tiny Furniture. Hopefully I'll have a review for the first episode of the final season up tonight. If not, probably tomorrow morning, nerds. Had a long weekend. A lot of stuff happened. This is a very long review, but it was the entire season, so sue me. Don't sue me. Don't sue me. Hope you guys had a great weekend, and I hope you like and comment.